Hello, everybody. Good afternoon, and welcome to this session. Excited to talk to you about building and managing and securing APIs using MuleSoft API management. APIs are pivotal in delivering business applications, business services, and protecting and managing those APIs is becoming increasingly important. That's going to be our topic today. Probably I'm tired of seeing this slide, but I have to do this. We're going to talk about new products, capabilities, but please make your purchasing decisions on the products available today. We love your feedback. Please, you can use the app, the Events app, to provide your feedback. Tell us how we did, what you liked, and how we can improve. And before we start, thank you for coming today. Thank you to our customers, our partners, our MuleSoft community, Trailblazer community for helping and supporting us. Quick intro about me, Samir Porulkar, product marketing here at Salesforce, focused on MuleSoft API management technologies. I've been with MuleSoft for around 2 years and in the industry for 20 plus years. And I'm joined today by Anupam. You want to introduce yourself?
Hey, I'm Anupam from NVIDIA. I'm a senior software engineer taking care of the MuleSoft and the integration practice at NVIDIA.
Hi, my name is Parvez. I've been with MuleSoft for about 2 years now. I enjoy APIs. I'm the director of product management, and I focus on API protection, specifically the Flex and the Mule gateways. So if you guys have any questions, please stay over, and we can talk about those.
Awesome. All right. So let's get started. So the first thing is, right, APIs are not new. API management is not new. But how do you manage an API lifecycle today is actually very important and has to change. And I'll give you the reason why. We often use APIs to connect applications, share data between different systems, and most importantly, to deliver business solutions. We see that APIs continue to drive business value across different business verticals, from unified digital services to e-commerce and payments to digital banking experiences. APIs are actually at the foundation for the experiences that you as a consumer expect and demand from your customer. Recently, in our connectivity benchmark report that we just did, we got some interesting results. 39% of the respondents indicated that they see use of APIs helps them increase revenue. And 49% indicated that actually helped them with greater agility. Now, the same report, we found that enterprises, on an average, use 1,000 plus applications. Now, there is not really any good correlation between an application and number of APIs, but we can safely assume that it's probably at a scale of 30 to 50%. So probably if you look at 1,000 applications, think about how many number of APIs you have within your enterprise. Now, APIs do different tasks, right? Are used for different aspects. 54% of those respondents mentioned that they use APIs to build integrations, and 46% to manage API products or API as a product. Now, with the advent of AI and Gen AI applications, the number and type of APIs are actually going to increase and not decrease. Why? Because APIs are the common way to interface even with an AI application, right? So what is happening is, with the API volume and velocity as it continues to increase, it's important to have a proper API strategy to deal with this increasing API landscape. Now, we often see that a lot of our MuleSoft customers use the API-led approach and the API-led approach and connectivity to create and compose APIs on the unified platform. And we see a lot of them see good benefits using that approach and to unlock data within their applications. But what is also happening is as you create, more and more APIs are developed to support LOB applications, business initiatives, technical initiatives like microservices, modernization initiatives, event-driven, or AI experiences. And what is happening is, as more APIs are being developed, these APIs are being developed on different technologies, different architecture, and different deployment patterns, right? For example, deploying those APIs on-premise, private cloud, hybrid cloud, or in a container environment. We call this API sprawl or API proliferation, right? How many of you have seen this within your enterprise today? I see a couple of hands. This actually creates lots of challenges. Number one, limited visibility to these APIs. You can only manage an API that you know. If you don't know where it is, how are you going to manage and protect it? Second, inconsistent enforcement of security and governance across all these API landscape as new APIs are being developed. Slow time to market and complex operations and troubleshooting. Now, the question then is, how do you get the most value from your API investments so that you can deliver connected solutions with speed and with trust? I think that's very, very important. So how do MuleSoft, we support you? And we support you through this approach called Universal API Management. With Universal API Management, think about this as an approach by which we expand the scope of API management to any API that you have, developed on any platform and deployed on any environment. At a really high level, what Universal API Management allows you to do is allows you to do a few things. For example, build and compose APIs to unlock data on the Anypoint platform, discover and catalog non-Mule APIs in one place so that you have a single source of truth for your APIs. Third, govern and apply best practices or guardrails to all your APIs. Fourth, manage and protect any API within your environment. And lastly, engage and reuse those APIs for more API investments, for reusability. So overall, that Universal API Management approach, with that and the set of capabilities that Parvez is going to talk about later, is going to help you control the API sprawl. So that's a quick intro of Universal API Management. Now I'm going to hand it over to you to then talk about NVIDIA's API journey. Anupam, to you.
Thank you. Hey, so at NVIDIA, one of the things that my boss says is that everyone other than the janitors are engineers. You cannot control and say that everyone has to come to the integration team or to the IT team to build an API. It's not possible. So everyone builds API, and that is why what we say is that there are 3 different kinds of personas that we find. One of those who says that, OK, I don't understand anything, build the API from scratch to end for me. We call that a persona 1, which says they need everything. The second type who does build the API, for example, they'll probably build the API in Node.js or on Python or something like that, and then run on an EKS cluster. But they don't really know that those APIs are not a complete API. They're just an HTTP endpoint, not managed, not maintained, not governed. And then another team who actually does all of them. They actually build the API. They have a proper management, which is probably not even MuleSoft. They have the API gateway on top of that. But we also tell them that if they have built the API, they should come to the single API hub so that these APIs can be used by everyone else. Otherwise, what they're doing is completely in silos. That being said, these are the API strategy that we follow in NVIDIA. We think that when we talk about API, there is a consumer, there are catalogs, there are gateways, and there are the compute. And as I said, if you see the compute, there are MuleSoft, there are compute that happens on Node.js, there are compute that can happen on Python and everything. But where we are talking today is about the API gateway. How do we secure the API? And when I say secure, A lot of times when we talk to people, I find that by API security, they only think about authentication and authorization, but that's not really true. Security of API also means that preventing from DDoS attack, preventing from other kind of attacks like IP restrictions, all of those are a part of the API security. I see someone is taking a photo, so I'm waiting for that. One of the things that we have built in NVIDIA is called LLM Gateway. What we did here is that we ensured that everyone in NVIDIA uses a seamless single point of connection to different LLM providers. NVIDIA has our own LLM tool. We call it NVIDIA NeMo. It's a globally accessible tool. Everyone can do that. But what we want is that everyone who uses LLM, whether NVIDIA NeMo or other third-party NVIDIA, third-party LLM like Azure or OpenAI, they go through our MuleSoft process. What we did here is that we created, or we used a tool that we have in NVIDIA. We call it Starfleet Service Account, which is similar to Okta, you can think of. So instead of using the different API key that each of those LLM provides, we went to our customers, and when I said our customers, I meant the other business units or the other use cases. What they do is they use a standard way of connecting or standard way of authorization and authentication to follow the OAuth, to follow the JWT. And at MuleSoft, what we do is we figure out what that JWT token is, we find out who that belongs to, and then we make that end LLM call and we give them the data back. At this point of time, what we are also doing is we are able to now track and put those information, the telemetry information in our telemetry system. That way, we actually know who has used how much. So as I said, when I talk about NVIDIA, when I talk about API security, a lot of times people only think about access control, the authorization and authentication. That is not true. There are various things, like the biggest example is probably rate limiting. If I give the LLM APIs to everyone, people will use it in a way that they do anything with using LLM. So we have to make sure that there are rate limitings in picture, there are content validations in picture, and API security is a part of all of this. Now,
you have to go back. Yeah.
No, I'll do it.
Okay.
Okay, Pervez.
Okay, thank you, thanks. How many of us here use Anypoint or MuleSoft? Oh, great, very good. So, I'm going to talk a little bit about continuing on from the topic that Samir talked about and what was talked about from an NVIDIA perspective. I want to go talk about now product, right? The Anypoint API management product is evolving. As we evolve, we do see three major pillars. One, a pillar to protect APIs. That's a major aspect of building APIs. Right now, you want to protect them. You want to enable developers to have a single layer of protection across APIs. Now, the second piece here, as we go through the protection space, we're looking at managing and securing any API that's deployed anywhere. Now, when we talk about any kind of digital transformation projects or any of these new microservices, we are talking about protecting them through gateways. Now, a perfect gateway for that would be a microservices gateway like the Flex API gateway. Now, the Flex API gateway, as you guys have known, it's been a product with MuleSoft for about 2 years now. And it is purpose-built for high performance, for the ability to be able to protect many APIs at a very high rate of use, right? From that perspective, we are looking at protecting APIs, both Mule and non-Mule, through the Flex gateway. But we have a purpose-built gateway that you're very well used to. That's the Mule gateway. So that's specifically for Mule APIs. Now, the Mule APIs are available as a managed gateway on CloudHub as well. So that's that's the difference between these gateways. Now we have a central control plane on API Manager to manage all these APIs that are protected by these two gateways. Now, you can analyze different metrics that are available from these gateways, as well as the applications that are being run under these gateways. And you can also have a web-based UI to manage these gateways. Of course, for all these gateways, you have the capability to also use CI/CD pipelines to manage them. Now, here's something new that we introduced. As we all know, right, policies are something that are the most important aspect of gateways. We do provide a list of policies that are out of the box. But when it comes to taking these gateways and deploying them, we come across many customers having different use cases for policies, like different types of authentication, different ways that they want to transform data. So all of that becomes difficult, to just use the out-of-the-box policies. So you have the ability to build custom policies. Now, with the Flex Gateway, because it's based out of Envoy and a Wasm-based SDK, we did see that early on customers would struggle with building custom policies. Now, we solved that problem using the Policy Development Kit. With the Policy Development Kit, you can design these policies, you can deploy those policies, and also test these policies. And you can use the same interface that you have used before on the API Manager side to deploy these policies as well to the gateway. Now, we provide a huge amount of boilerplate codes for you to consume and just edit those boilerplate code that we have provided and publish your own policies onto Exchange and then use it on your gateway as well. So that's the Policy Development Kit. Now, the second pillar that we have is about enabling discovery and governance of APIs that you might have. So we talked about this before. There is an API sprawl, right? The first question that we have about APIs is, how do we go about understanding the API sprawl that we have? How many APIs do we have? Where are these APIs? What kind of protection is available on these APIs? And on top of that, right now, what is the security posture that we want to apply across all these APIs? Now, these are great questions, but until we launched some of our products, our customers would come back and ask these questions and try to figure out this for themselves. And it usually used to be an audit process. Now, we have a product called the API Catalog CLI, which enables you to discover APIs. Now, let's say you have it enabled as part of your CI/CD. Now, you can figure out which API has changed and automatically update that on Exchange and consume those APIs. Now, you can continue that with continual API assessments through our governance product. Now, the API governance product lets you have a set of rule sets to understand what kind of security is available for that particular APIs, and then what needs to be modified to make those APIs more secure. We also have the ability to discover unmanaged APIs. We are enabling this through our partner solutions with partners like Salt, NoName, and a few others as well. So that's something that's coming out later this year. Now, when we talked about governance, one of the key aspects of governance is to have a single dashboard to see all different APIs. Have a single pane of glass to see all your APIs, being able to understand what those APIs are, as well as to understand the posture that you have today on those APIs. So, for example, you will be able to understand what kind of APIs are protected by what policies, and if you could choose to see APIs that have not been protected, and then you could apply those protection directly from this dashboard. So that's something that we are bringing up to speed this year. You can take those actions to improve those postures. You can have out-of-the-box metrics to understand your APIs, and each metric that we have provided will enable you to improve your posture. Now, going on to MuleSoft API management, the third pillar is about creating vibrant ecosystems. So these APIs, we talked about living in silos, right? Now, these could be a business group that has created a separate silos for a separate set of APIs, and then another business group goes and creates similar APIs, but in a different flavor elsewhere. So there is not much reuse. What we enable is an API ecosystem, where you're able to publish all these APIs and showcase these APIs so other consumers of yours or even third-party businesses can consume these APIs and use it to build their own business logic. So on the comprehensive, on this side of things, we are talking about products that you know very well. That is the API Exchange, Anypoint Exchange. Exchange is a place where you catalog all the APIs that you have, and as well as policies and a huge amount of metadata as well. Now, we have introduced the API Experience Hub to build API portals and to showcase those APIs to your other customers. Now, where we are going with this is, we released this product last year, and this year we are coming up with something called API groups. Now, you can segregate these set of APIs into groups, and from there on, apply certain policies on those set of groups to give access to a certain set of people who need access to it. So basically, you will not have one single catalog for everyone, but a catalog specifically built for different business groups. So this is available later this year. So I'm coming almost to the end of my presentation. We'll have a Q&A session after. But basically, I'm kind of trying to showcase all these products that we have talked about in the short few minutes. From the build experience, we have the Anypoint Code Builder. For discovery of APIs, we have the Anypoint CLI. For the governance aspect, we have the Anypoint Governance product. And for manage, we have the Flex Gateway as well as the Mule Gateways. The last aspect is engagement, and we have the Anypoint Experience Hub. So key takeaways. We talked about why APIs are important, how they deliver business value. Second, we talked about modernization initiatives, how these APIs work across clouds, and the kind of API experiences you can create using the Universal API Management Platform. We had a quick sojourn into NVIDIA's API strategy, and we talked about the best practices they have, the standards, and the technical challenges, and the LLM gateway they've built using our products. We also talked about MuleSoft products, what we have today, and how they are evolving. And then the last thing I would like to encourage everyone to do is to try this out for yourself. All of these products are available through our trials. You can sign up for those trials and try all our products and give us feedback. So that's about all I had. I think it'll be it's quite a short presentation, but I would like to open this audience to some questions you guys might have, and we'll try to answer them.